Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Mind of Master. Please like, share and subscribe this channel. In this video we are going to talk about Delhi Sultanate that showcases the history of India's capital. Here we'll talk about all the 5 dynasties who ruled under the Sultanate. Qutbuddin Aibak was a general under Muhammad of Ghor. He was a slave soldier who rose to the power of being a general in Ghori's army. Ghori defeated the Rajputs and gained control over Delhi and eastern Rajasthan. After his death, Aibak marched into Delhi and made it his capital. He established a new empire. The Delhi Sultanate was the beginning of Muslim rule in India. When Muslims started ruling India, they took up the title of Sultan, and hence this period is known as the Sultanate period. The Mamluk dynasty from 1206 CE to 1290 CE. This was the first dynasty to rule the Delhi Sultanate. The word Mamluk means slave, and hence the name of the first dynasty to rule Delhi Sultanate is the slave or Mamluk dynasty, because Aibak, the founder of the Sultanate, was himself a slave. Qutbuddin Aibak was the first ruler of the Delhi Sultanate and also the Mamluk dynasty. He laid down the foundation of the Delhi Sultanate. He started the construction of the Qutub Minar. He was a generous ruler. He died in an accident while playing polo. He ruled from 1206 CE to 1210 CE. He was succeeded by his son-in-law Iltutmish, who ruled from 1210 CE to 1236 CE. He defeated the Rajput rulers of Ujjain and Ranthambore and made Bihar and Bengal a part of the Sultanate. He won over the nobles by gifting territories. He had a very strong defense against the Mongols. He is remembered for his buildings erected in Delhi and Ajmer. The construction of the Qutub Minar was completed under his rule. He was succeeded by his daughter Razia Sultan. Iltutmish felt that Razia Sultan was a more competent ruler than all his other sons. Razia Sultan was the first woman to rule over Delhi. She accompanied her troops, riding on an elephant and dressed like men. She was very able and just ruler. However, even after knowing her caliber, the male-dominated society could not accept her as the Sultan, and she faced several revolts. Her reign was short-lived and she ruled only from 4 years, for 1206 CE to 1240 CE. She was succeeded by many of her brothers, one of which was Nasiruddin. Nasiruddin has a very capable minister known as Balban. Balban, after the death of Nasiruddin, started ruling the Sultanate. He rose from the post of a water carrier to a huntsman, to a general, to a statesman, and at the end, the Sultan. He had to face several revolts from Muslim nobles and greedy governors. He adopted harsh measures to showcase his power. He had strategic forts constructed to ward off Mongols. He had an efficient spy system in and around his empire. He introduced many Persian customs to show his supremacy. He ruled from 1265 CE to 1286 CE. The Khilji dynasty, 1290 CE to 320 CE. The successors of Balban were very weak and could not control the empire. The throne of Delhi was captured by Jalaluddin Khilji. Jalaluddin Khilji, who ruled from 1290 CE to 1296 CE, was the founder of the Khilji dynasty. He was a very generous ruler. He was not very practical about his decisions and pardoned criminals often. This made him very unpopular in the public, and his over-generosity caused disasters seldom. Alauddin was the most prominent ruler amongst all rulers who ruled the Delhi Sultanate. He very cleverly assassinated his uncle, Jalaluddin, and took over the throne. Alauddin's military was one of the greatest in the history of India. He was a person of violent temper. Alauddin dreamt of a vast empire and at the same time also protected his empire. He gained support of the nobles and soldiers by freely distributing expensive gifts. Once he secured possession, he started to siege all prior grants and rather started to put restrictions of private gatherings and festivities of nobles. Alauddin Khilji. His administration. He was never lenient with any crime. even the smallest of mistakes. He passed a law as to prohibit liquor and drugs and never supported their consumption. He was very cruel to Hindus and was biased towards Islam. He raised land taxes. He constructed a new garrison town named Siri for his soldiers. Alauddin was very impressive strategist. His efficient tactics are evident in the past. His counter invasion policies. He kept the Mongols under strict check. The biggest threat from the Mongols came in 1299 CE when around 200,000 Mongols attacked to conquer India, but Khilji's trusted general Zafar Khan managed to ward them off. His expansion policy. He conquered Gujarat and Malwa in 1277 CE and Ranthambore and Chittor in 1301 to 1303 CE. This gave him control over the western seaports that increased trade. Soon after this, he sent his forces towards the south under his trusted general Malik Kafur, who defeated many rulers in southern India. These rulers were made to pay huge tributes to Alauddin Khilji. Hence, for a short period of time, Alauddin ruled an empire as huge as that of King Ashoka. His court. His court was graced by learned men, including Amir Khusro, one of the great poets of that time, who wrote in Persian. The Tughlaq dynasty, from 320 CE to 1414 CE. After Alauddin's death, war of succession broke out, and the Khiljis were succeeded by the Tughlaqs. The first ruler of the Tughlaq dynasty was Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, who ruled from 1320 CE to 1325 CE. He founded the Tughlaq dynasty. He built his capital, known as Tughlaqabad. He encouraged agriculture by limiting taxes. He took in considerance many irrigational projects. He is often known for his efficient postal service. He was succeeded by his son Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who ruled from 1325 CE to 1351 CE. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was a very learned person. He was perfect in most of the educational and administrational fields. However, his decision-making skills were very poor. He was a very ambitious man. He pursued the dream to rule not only India but also around India. He is famous for his ambitious schemes. His schemes, although were very always by a good intention of upliftment of his people, still the impractical execution of these schemes caused disasters. He launched 7 main schemes, out of which only one was successful. All this made him look mad in the public view. He was succeeded by his cousin Firoz Shah Tughlaq, who ruled from 1351 CE to 1388 CE. Firoz Shah was a significant reformer and launched many beneficial schemes. He built many canals, wells, tanks, hospitals, rest houses, etc. He established new towns such as Firozapur, Jaunpur, Hisare Firoza, etc. He was a very learned person and established many educational institutions. He has also written his autobiography, Fatute Firoz Shah. However, the Jahangir system, in which Shah paid off all his workers and soldiers by granting them lands, was not efficient as the slaves grew in power via the lands. He was a very religious person and was a great follower of Islam. To please the ulemas, he imposed Quranic laws. To suppress rebellion from nobles, he increased their salaries and granted them with bigger jahagirs. This gave lots of power to the ulemas and nobles, who started to dominate the decisions of the sultan. This was not an efficient general and hence could not control the revolts around and also could not expand the empire. Some of the ambitious schemes launched by Muhammad bin Tughlaq were shift of capital. In 1329 CE, Tughlaq ordered a shift of his capital from Delhi to Devgiri, renamed as Daulatabad in Maharashtra. But even though this decision was taken for the progress of his empire, due to the impractical execution, it caused great loss. The distance from Delhi to Daulatabad is approximately 1500 kilometers. Tughlaq, instead of shifting his throne to Daulatabad, ordered the shift of all the people residing in Delhi to Daulatabad. But due to revolts from the public in certain political issues, Tughlaq ordered a reshift of the capital to Delhi. This caused huge loss of money and life. the Sultanate grew economically weak. The token currency. Muhammad bin Tughlaq introduced a token currency in 1329 CE. He issued coins made of copper and brass that could be exchanged with silver coins from the royal treasury. But people started illegally minting coins. The coin lost its value, and we can say this led to the demoralization of these coins. But by the time Tughlaq realized his fault, it was too late to take control over the situation. This led to massive downfall of the economy and trade suffered. Seeing this, many kingdoms started to demand their independence and hence there were revolts in many states. All this shows why Muhammad bin Tughlaq is also referred to as the Mad King. Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta was a Moroccan traveler who traveled across Asia, Europe, and China. He has studied the culture, politics, and society of many kingdoms. He visited India during Tughlaq's reign in 1333 CE. He has praised the steps taken by Tughlaq and has also given detail about Tughlaq's foreign policies and experiments. Temur. Temur was the ruler of Balkh in Central Asia. He invaded India in 1298 CE and looted Delhi. He also ordered a mass in which many people were killed. He returned to his land Samarkand, taking away all the wealth which he used to construct magnificent architecture. His invasion was the final blowdown of Tughlaqs. The Sayyid dynasty from 1414 CE to 1451 CE. Before Temur returned to his capital, he appointed Khizr Khan as his deputy in India. Khizr went on to establish the Sayyid dynasty. Khizr Khan was the governor of Multan under Firoz Shah Tughlaq. When Temur invaded India, Khan joined him. Temur appointed him as his deputy in India. He was ruling under the name of Temur. Mubarak Shah. He claimed to be a descendant of Prophet Muhammad. It took him 7 years of his reign in suppressing revolts. He built a city named Mubarakabad. He was a man of great vision but lacked the support of the nobles. Muhammad Shah. He was a very lazy and weak ruler. Disorder and mismanagement prevailed under his rule. Alam Shah. He was an incompetent and weak ruler. According to some historians, he shifted his capital from Delhi to Badan. The Lodi dynasty from 1451 CE to 1526 CE. The Lodis were the first Afghans to rule India. Before the Lodis, all dynasties of the Sultanate were Turkish of origin. Bahlol Lodi took over Delhi and established the Lodi dynasty. This was the last dynasty counted as a part of the Delhi Sultanate. Bahlol Lodi, who ruled from 1451 CE to 1489 CE. In his youth, he used to trade horses. He was given the title of Khan-e-Khanan. He was a courageous ruler and treated his nobles as his friends. He expanded his empire and crushed revolts. He was succeeded by Sikandar Lodi, who ruled from 1489 CE to 1517 CE. He was a very powerful ruler. He aimed to get back the prestige lost in the post of a sultan. He founded the city of Agra and shifted his capital there. He was succeeded by Ibrahim Lodi, 1517 CE to 1526 CE. He was a man of his thoughts. He did what he wanted exactly. He never worked under the nobles. The nobles and the governors then conspired with Babur and succeeded overthrowing Ibrahim in 1526 CE. The downfall of the Lodi dynasty marked the end of the Delhi Sultanate. Ibrahim Lodi's defeat against Babur was the set of the Sultanate. But every set makes way for a new rise. And there came the Mughals who consolidated the different parts of India under the Mughal Empire. The Delhi Sultanate was a new era in the Indian history. It contributes to the rich culture and heritage of India. Delhi became a major political and strategic city under the Rajputs and continued to hold its magnificence under the Sultanate. This was all about the history of Delhi in the Delhi Sultanate. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe this channel and tell others to repeat the same.